Here's what most short-term rental managers won't tell you. And honestly, it's why so many short-term rentals in Arizona are either underperforming or stressing out their owners more than they should. Running a short-term rental isn't just about keeping the place clean and getting a few weekend bookings. It's not just answering guest questions or hiring a cleaner. It's a business. It's an operational, customer service-driven, logistics-heavy business that needs systems, data, strategy, and accountability to thrive. And here's the part most people gloss over. If even one piece of that breaks, your guest communication, your pricing, your cleaning coordination, it affects everything. Your reviews, your visibility, your bookings, and ultimately your bottom line. So if you're currently self-managing a property and you're overwhelmed, or if you're exploring turning a home into an STR, but you don't want the hassle that comes with the day-to-day hosting, I want to break down what STR management really involves, especially here in Arizona, and why the right management partner can be the difference between burnout and consistent, scalable income. Now, before I dive into how I manage things differently, let's just get real about what most STR managers do and don't do. In a lot of cases, STR management companies are either massive or impersonal, or so small they're just barely keeping up. Some of them take on way too many properties, so you get minimal attention. Others use a one-size-fits-all approach that doesn't work across different Arizona markets. And here's the kicker. Many of them are doing the bare minimum. Sending basic messages, scheduling cleaning, maybe checking on guest issues, but they're not thinking about optimizing your property like a business. They're not tracking your numbers. They're not protecting your reputation, and they're not showing up like a partner. And that's exactly where I do things differently. So who am I and what do I do? I'm Stacy Muller, and I'm a longtime Arizona realtor, over 20 years in the game, and I'm also the founder of Sun to Summit STR Management Services. I work with STR owners who want more than just a guest responder or a cleaning scheduler. They want someone who knows how to run a high-performing short-term rental business for them, ones that protect their time, delivers a top-tier guest experience, and produces real results they can count on month over month. And let me be clear, not every STR is meant to be managed the same way. That's why a deep understanding of the market is so critical. Let's talk about that. Arizona is one of the most interesting and competitive STR markets in the country. You've got Scottsdale with luxury high-end travelers looking for that curated guest experience. You've got Phoenix with its sports events, concerts, conferences, and weekend warriors. Prescott draws in folks looking for that escape from the heat, mountain charm, and each of these guest types needs to be marketed to differently. Each of those properties need to be priced differently, and each city has its own compliance and licensing laws you've got to stay on top of. Scottsdale requires STR owners to register annually. Phoenix has rules around notifying neighbors. Some HOAs outright prohibit short-term rentals, and in smaller cities like Prescott or Flagstaff, you've got limited inventory, but also very specific zoning and neighborhood guidelines that can change frequently. If your STR manager doesn't understand those local nuances, you're at risk. Full stop. It's not just about legality, it's about maximizing potential while staying protected. I've seen owners get hit with fines. I've seen people forced to pivot to 30+ day rentals just because their manager didn't catch something in the city code or the HOA rules. This is why when I take on a property, I'm not just thinking, how do we fill this calendar? I'm thinking, how do we position this property to be sustainable and profitable for years? Let's break it down even more. Here's what I believe a good STR manager should do. First, set up all the right systems. This is a non-negotiable. If your manager doesn't have solid automation in place for messaging, reviews, scheduling, maintenance, pricing, your property is at a huge disadvantage. I use tools like OwnerRes for property management systems, Price Labs for dynamic pricing, Turno for cleaning coordination, Schlage smart locks for remote access, and a combination of SOPs and human oversight to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. That's how we stay proactive instead of reactive. A lot of managers only address issues once something goes wrong, but I'm consistently reviewing data, occupancy rates, nightly rate trends, review sentiments, and adjusting accordingly. Let's say bookings slowed down in Chandler in August, which they do. I know that ahead of time, so I adjust pricing, offer length of stay discounts, or build in last-minute specials. Same property, same guest potential, but better performance because we're using a strategy, not just hope. Second, treat the guest experience like a brand. Every guest interaction is a chance to get a glowing review or a negative one. That affects your listing, ranking, your pricing power, and your future bookings. Most guests decide within an hour of check-in whether they'll leave a good review. So that welcome message, that entry experience, the ease of check-in, the scent when they walk in, the little things like extra towels or having a phone charger handy, it all matters. My team and I build a consistent system so that guest experience is dialed in and repeatable. We train your cleaners on exactly how to stage the space. We automate welcome and mid-stay messages with personal touches. We monitor feedback to consistently improve. The goal is a 4.9 plus star average, and we work backwards to make that happen. Third, you need transparent reporting. Most owners I talk to have no clue how their property is really performing. They might get a payout from Airbnb or VRBO, but they don't know what their occupancy rate was last month, or how their average nightly rate compared to comps, or what they lost in gaps between cleanings. When you work with me, you get monthly reporting that breaks it all down. We look at top line revenue, net profit, platform performance, trends, and even suggestions for improvements like upgrading photos, adding an amenity, or tweaking your listing title. Because if you're investing in an STR, you deserve to know your numbers and how they're trending over time. That's how you make smart decisions, not emotional ones. Now, here is the truth. I'm not the cheapest STR manager in the market, but I'm also not trying to be. I'm here for the owners who are looking for partnership, not just service. Someone who wants to be hands-off, but still highly informed. Someone who values structure, experience, accountability, and real communication. I only take on properties where I know I can drive results. That means the right location, a property that fits the market, and an owner who's ready to treat this like the income-producing asset it is, not just a hobby. So if you're watching this and you're drowning in guest messages, feeling unsure whether your property is even profitable, considering turning your home into an STR but don't know where to start, or you're with a current manager but something just feels off, let's talk. We can set up a quick low-pressure discovery call to talk through your goals, your property, and what's really possible with the right strategy. And here's the deal. I'll be honest. If I don't think I'm the right fit, I'll tell you that. And if I do think your property has potential, I'll walk you through how I approach it, what systems we put into place, and what results we're aiming for in the first 90 days. Whether you're brand new or already midstream, it's never too late to get strategic. So if you're ready to stop managing chaos and start building real, reliable income from your short-term rental in Arizona, I would love to connect. Thanks for watching. Reach out and let's see what is possible together.